What it do?
I'm your host, Danny Pass. To my right, or to your guys' left, I have half of 48 boys, Shorty 40, aka the 40 and 48. And we are doing a special double feature and our two lovely special guests tonight. Austin, aka Mirage, Sebastian, aka FINNUH. How are you guys doing tonight?
What up? We're doing pretty fantastic.
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
Just got some good food in our bellies.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Chef Austin.
Yeah, chefed it up.
Hit him up for the plates, not talking about IDs, but I mean, also hit him up for IDs.
I got both.
Fire.
So what have you guys been up to as of lately?
Dude, honestly, I've been in school right now, so I've been just working on that, and then just honestly just been working on music and just chilling, just vibing.
Yeah, same. I've been trying to work on a lot of music. I started a job at Audius too, and so like that's like taking up a lot of my time. Just
You
like
have a job at Audius?
Yeah.
Like the platform?
Yeah. Like I'm a developer, so I like help build Audius. So like, you know, if you run into shit that's like a bug, just let me know. And then,
What the
like,
fuck?
get it on the
I
backlog.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on to you about let's see. How come we don't have like all the tracks that were on the Artist Union on there now?
We should we could probably strike up a deal with them or something. But yeah, like it's just like a slow process. Like basically, we want to take over and be the new SoundCloud, right? Because like SoundCloud, they're like super restrictive. Obviously, that's where like all the underground shit is happening right now. But they like take shit down all the time, like frivolously, and they're owned by like this big like Chinese company that's just like investors basically. So they don't have like that artist interest at hand or in mind, you know. But Audius does, so it's pretty cool.
So I'm gonna need everybody to upload their bootlegs, all the edits on the Audius. No more SoundClouds.
Audius is the future.
Just upload all your music on Audius at least. The really cool feature that they have that I use a lot is like they have built-in follow to download. So you know how on SoundCloud you have to set up like a download gate? On Audius you just like click a button and then anyone can download it as long as they follow you.
Huh.
So now my free download button on SoundCloud just like redirects to Audius.
That's smart. I actually seen AKOS do that because I think with his VIP for I forgot what track it was. It was a Sizzy that they released back in like Never Say Die like a while ago. But it's his VIP for that. Fuck, how do I
Identity Thief?
There you go. I was like, it's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, his Identity Thief VIP, I think he has it on SoundCloud, but whenever you hit download, it redirects it to
Audius.
Audius.
Oh shit, I didn't know AKOS was on Audius.
Oh yeah, no, he has that. He has his Pattern Screamer flip on there.
Oh hell yeah.
Little hint. And he has a couple of other, I think he has like 3 more tunes on there.
Dope. Yeah, that's what I love to see. Like, I want to get more of the underground on there because right now it's like, I mean, there's some stuff. We're getting like big remix contests and stuff. Like Keizo just did a remix contest. We got a bunch of exclusives and stuff, but still a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah, I think it's just like because when did Audius even start? That was like earlier this year, wasn't it?
They released in like October of last year. So yeah, they've only been around for like, they've only been live for people to use it like less than a year almost.
We're almost approaching a year on that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
As opposed to like SoundCloud.
They've been around.
We've been using that shit since like what, high school, middle school?
Definitely.
Middle school
Yep.
for me, dude.
Yeah.
Shit's been around forever.
Can both of y'all tell us a little bit about your introduction into EDM or what got y'all into raving or even DJing?
Yeah, so first show I went to was with a Tinder match actually. She like I went over to her place and she was like, "You want to go see this dude called Hesh?" And I was like,
Oh my God.
no idea who the fuck that was or what dubstep was. And I was like, sure, why not? Like, it was at Lizard Lounge and everything. It was like my first show ever. And I was like, the entire time I was like, what the actual fuck is going on right now? This shit is insane, bro. And then after that is when I really started just going down the fucking rabbit hole. I listened to like EDM my entire life, but I didn't get into like heavy dubstep until really like that point in time. I was listening to like a lot of melodic stuff. But after that, it's pretty much what got me into it. And then Lights All Night, 2019, when I was watching Son Holo, I was just like looking around and seeing like everybody just vibing. Literally, it was like, I gotta learn how to do this shit. So I went home that night, bought FL Studio, and that's how I got started like learning how to produce and stuff. So that was about a year ago. And then DJing, obviously that comes with like producing kind of doesn't really necessarily go hand in hand, but like you should really just give it a go if you want to like be a producer. It wasn't until Grouch actually hit me up with my first show, Christmas Day. So that's when I got into DJing and stuff, and here we are now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How the Grouch stole Christmas.
Yeah.
I never forget that moment. Going
dude,
up there.
that's literally the first time I met this dude. Oh my god, literally, I had none of my fucking waveforms or cues loaded, and he came up and saw that I was playing, like, I had to anticipate every transition, just fucking freestyle the fuck out of it, and he came up and saw I had no waveforms, and he was just like, you've been playing like this entire time, my guy, like, what? And he's like, oh, by the way, I'm Danny Paffs, and I was like, oh, what's up, dude?
Because
first time I met him.
That triggered like some fucking war flashbacks.
Yeah, it's like PTSD right there.
Yeah, some major PTSD. Because whenever I did like Ham's open decks, like the first time I ever went, the same shit happened to me, so I didn't even play.
Literally my first time touching CDJs too, so it was just like a whole fucking mess. But I was like, fuck it, we're gonna make it work, you know.
No, you're better than me. I just said no, I can't do that.
Oh, dude.
Alright, I'm gonna head out.
No, I was very eager to play, so I was like, the show must go on.
It was funny because like I was looking back at the video from like whenever like some of the videos I took, and I see Sebastian just in the crowd.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't even realize it was the same time, but then like I saw that video, I'm like, oh yeah, that was me right there.
Yeah.
Looking exactly the same. Like,
yeah.
This man just like does not age.
Yeah, literally. It's like Will Smith.
Yeah, something like that.
So what about you, FINNUH? What was your introduction?
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of listening to dubstep for a long time. I got into it like back when the original like Skrillex stuff was coming out, like Scary Monsters and stuff, obviously. But there was this one YouTube channel that I remember specifically. It was called Quantum Dubstep, and it had like this picture of like I think it was Earth with like just like a lens flare, and then it just said Quantum. And that's like kind of how I got into dubstep. And like around that same time, I downloaded FL Studio and just started producing and stuff. And I was making dubstep for a while, and then I kind of like gradually started making more like trap music and getting into trap when that was like a big thing. And then slowly over time, I just like came back to dubstep. Basically, I just like came home, and like now, and that totally makes sense now too, because like trap is like not a big thing, but dubstep is still gigantic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, and then I've been producing way longer than I've been DJing. So, and I've like been producing longer than I've been in the scene, really. Like I've always gone to shows and stuff, but I've never really been involved in the scene until like the past like year and maybe like year and a half. Because and the only thing that really changed was like I got on Twitter and started being active on Twitter. Yeah. And like before that, I felt so disconnected. I was like, I was putting out music and then like no one would listen to it. You know, I was like, well, fuck, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. And I got Twitter and I like met everyone. You know, met all of you guys, and like now I put stuff out and people actually listen to it, and like it motivates me to get even better.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Infect's like little prodigy over here.
Dude.
Yeah,
This
something
is
like
literally
that.
Infect's son, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
Honestly. Yo, but going back to the Quantum channel, do you remember if they did like a podcast where it was like a mix, like an hour-long mix called like the Going Quantum podcast?
That could have been it. I'm not sure if I remember that exactly, but it might be the same thing.
Because I remember back then there was like this one mix. It was called like a liquid dubstep mix, and I think it was like on the Going Quantum podcast.
That makes sense. They had a lot more like melodic and like liquid stuff, and some heavy stuff. But yeah, some of those classic dubstep tracks, like on UKF too, and like you just go back and listen to it and you're like, wow, this is really good even back then. And I remember I would just like rip songs off of YouTube, and I still like have some of them, and I'll like listen to it and it's like a 128, and I like listen to it, I'm like, how did I ever like listen to this and enjoy it? And I'm like, oh no.
It's funny because like once you start doing it and like you learn about like high quality shit, you learn about wave, you're just like you go back to the shit
I gotta re-download everything now.
Oh yeah. You're just like, why is this so muddy? How is I doing this? But then again, we're probably like using like $10 earbuds listening to music.
Exactly,
so
on the school bus, like
it's like they can only go so
just
high.
blasting Skrillex with over the ear, like fucking $20 Walmart headphones, dude. I remember that shit on the bus, dude.
Oh,
my
I definitely had
gosh.
some Skull Candies.
Oh yeah, dude.
Listen to like Gold Dust.
Dude, I listened to in like middle school. I would listen to stuff on Turtle Beaches, dude.
I mean, it's probably better than Skull Candies. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude,
like,
no, dude. Literally, the low end on those fucking things are so bad.
You ever think about like just like the audio equipment from back in the day, and you're just like think about it.
Dude,
and you're just like if you were to go to like the same like I guess like headphones back then, like listen to like what you would like just make compared to like your over the ear, you know, open bag, like Sennheisers or whatever. And you're just like, how the fuck? Like if I have any like permanent hearing damage, it's probably from like these old sons of bitches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like those headphones are like so bass boosted and just like so they have all these EQ curves on them just to make shit sound loud for just like the average consumer. And then you get some ones that are like even response curve and it's like just so much better. And like your mix on that is gonna sound good pretty much everywhere. But if you're mixing on like Skull Candies, you're gonna like not mix the bass high enough and all kinds of stuff, and it just won't translate to any other system.
I learned that the hard way.
Oh,
Fucking, I thought like the sub was like too low, so I had it like just blasting in my headphones. I was like, oh, this is fine. Uploaded to SoundCloud and then just like listen to my car and it just sounds. I'm talking about like just more shit out the fucking ass, bro.
I mean, that's what style these days. Like some people's shit is just so distorted, but it sounds like if you're going for it and you like manage it properly, like Hall's stuff is like
Hall
his
is
subs
so
are so
good at that.
distorted,
I was
but
literally about to say.
yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like I like to do that too, like kind of soft clip stuff. And then like turn it down so you still have room for your drums and stuff. So it sounds like super distorted, but
I'm pretty sure you showed me that trick.
Yeah, you're not like clipping, you know. It just sounds like you're clipping, which sounds good sometimes.
As opposed to actually clipping it, it just sounds like ass.
Yeah.
Loud. So how long have y'all had the Mirage and FINNUH project? How long have y'all been working on that?
So for me, I started off as a different name. I started off as Artemic, which has like been my gamer tag for fucking ever. So I was like, fuck it, we're gonna like stick with that. I was like, and then like I stuck with that for like maybe a couple months. I was like, all right, this is pretty stupid. I need to actually like sit down and think about like what I want to do. And y'all know I like make my own visuals and stuff. So I always wanted to make my project like a very audio visual thing. And eventually down the line, I have like a lot that I want to do with it. I want to start like live looping shit and like doing all this other stuff and kind of like using actual instruments during my sets. I think I've started the whole Mirage thing maybe like 6 or 7 months ago is when I actually like thought of the idea and kind of like really wanted to start implementing it with things. And just like a Mirage is like a very audio and a visual kind of distortion of reality, and that's like my whole basis around the project is I use a lot of glitches and like kind of like hyper pop kind of elements to really kind of make it sound distorted with like your like audio kind of experience.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of like why I'm
That's cool. That's like a perfect name.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple other names too, but FINNUH started. It's kind of a funny story, like how I thought of that name. Like I'm from Houston originally, but I've been living in DFW for like a while because I went to college here and stuff. But I was back in Houston for a festival. I think it was like 2016. It was called Day for Night, which was really dope. There's like Odessa was playing, Aphex Twin was playing. We saw like a whole like selection takeover, which was cool. But I took like my friends and I were all gonna trip acid, and they kind of flaked out, and so I took more than I should have, and I was like tripping nuts at the festival and having a great time. But it was like they had these two like festival stages, right? Like Odessa was playing like Tycho, like big ass names, and then like behind the main festival grounds there was this tiny rinky dink stage that they had set up with like PVC pipe and like a bed sheet. And it was like super windy, and like one dude was like holding the PVC pipe, and there's like 16 people back there like jamming, and we go back there, and I'm just like having a blast like jamming. You know, it's just such a weird shift from like this giant festival stage to this tiny stage like blowing over in the wind. And this dude comes up on stage, and he's like, "This next song is called I'm Finna Do It." And then the beat dropped, and he's just like, "I'm finna do it." Yeah, I'm finna do it. Yeah, and everyone was jamming. I have no idea who this was, but I mean, we had a lot of fun at that festival. And then later that night, I was like, "Wow, I kind of like that word, you know, like finna, because it represents the South." And I was like, I grew up in Houston, and everyone there says finna. Like,
Literally,
and here too, lots of people say it. So I was like, I should just use that. And I mean, the normal spelling of it is like FINNA, but I didn't want to do that because like the SEO, like when you Google that, it's just not going to come up.
Oh, yeah.
So I like misspelled it slightly, and now I'm like, I got like the SoundCloud, the Instagram, you know, like I show up on Google if you search that. So yeah, and that was like 2016. So I guess the FINNUH project has been like a while. It's been like 5 years, you know. And I've just constantly been producing and like just recently getting into DJing too.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
So going back to whenever you first started like your Mirage project, you said it was like recently, probably like 7-8 months ago. So how did like Josh or Grouch like kind of like discover you?
Who was it that introduced me? So I technically that show wasn't like my first like show. I played there was like a field rave or some shit happening, and I played that, but it was like playing for like 5 people in a fucking field, so it was pretty like miserable. It was cold as fuck, and like didn't get paid for driving like an hour and 30 minutes out. So it was just kind of like it was whoever was working the tent then, I guess knew him, and like apparently my set was just fucking bonkers for what I was doing, and he like texted Josh, and Josh was like, dude, like he literally hit me up and was like, dude, like I'm doing something, I've seen you like putting in work and stuff, so like you want a shot, bada bing bada boom, there you go. So that's literally what happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Connections.
Yeah. Literally, whenever I tell people that are trying to get like into DJing and stuff, I'm like, literally get on Twitter and start messaging people.
Yes.
This is literally all it takes. Like,
Yeah.
throw a mix out into the DMs, you'll get a booking within a couple months. Like, if it's good. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
this is that easy.
Sure.
Literally that easy.
It just comes down to like connections. Who you know.
Literally, like make your sound different, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, people are always
And
looking
then build
for
your connections,
new artists, so
Literally.
yeah.
Shout out Grouch one time now. I think he's done a shit ton in terms of like underground, in terms of like, I say underground, but it's really just like DJs and like some small artists. But I feel like he's done a lot, especially for like how long he's
He
been in the
loves
scene for.
putting so many like young underground people on, dude. He's like, he's the homie.
He's a real one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Grouch.
Shout out Grouch.
And his mask is sick.
Dude, I think he broke it.
He broke what?
He
mask.
broke his
His
mask.
mask.
Oh, for real?
I forgot what he did, but I think he just straight up just like ripped it in half.
That's
Yeah.
something you would
That
do.
sounds
probably.
about
I eventually
Yeah.
want to wear a helmet. It's
Yeah.
like my goal, yeah.
Oh yeah, weren't you showing me like some designs?
Dude, it's gonna be fucking sick as fuck.
Like just like a helmet, like, or just
Oh,
like
just a bicycle
whole-
helmet?
No,
Just a bicycle
It's
helmet?
gonna be like a custom made, like 3D printed one that I'm gonna make.
Like a big or like
It's not. So, do you know the movie? What is it called? Chappie. Do you know the movie Chappie by chance?
I don't think so.
So it's like about this robot that basically gets like artificial intelligence and becomes alive essentially, and like the design is very emphasized around him. He kind of looks like. I'm trying to describe this. It's like if like a demon and a robot and like a deer like had like a baby. That's like what the helmet looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't even picture that.
It's very like cyberpunky, very very like futuristic kind
Sounds
of.
Does it have antlers? I'm trying.
Yeah, literally, it's gonna have like these like little spikes that come out of it
Oh,
that look like
shit.
antlers.
That's cool.
Gives me some like Akira vibes.
Yeah.
Even though that's like the 80s version of like.
And
the
then
future.
like the front of it is gonna be able to display like different facial expressions, and I'm gonna have this like basically like this is how like Barely Live like changes their lights. They have like a thing in their hand, and like whenever you like do this, it like changes the like
That's awesome.
expressions and
That's
colors.
Huh.
That's cool.
It's kind of like how BTSM does their helmets. Like there's like the one of them on the stage, they're like controlling their helmets.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
heard
because
that.
I remember seeing or reading about that, and I think one of them's like DJing. I think another one's controlling like the lights or something like that.
One of them is
Visuals.
one of them is DJing. One of them is using samples and like doing some like VJ stuff, and then the guy in the middle is mixing.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That must be hard. Like that must take a lot of practice to coordinate everything, especially like at
They are the only like group that is like just killing it, like in every aspect. There's no one can compare to them.
No,
Like
no.
they're so in sync with each other. It's insane.
I would always be worried about like just getting way too hot in a helmet.
Oh,
Yes,
there's
I
ways
agree.
around that shit.
I bet there's
Like,
little fans and
They
stuff.
have numerous fans, and they put ice packs in there too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'd be stoked.
Yeah. The way I'm designing my helmet is there's gonna be like these slits, and I can literally slide like an ice pack in there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And have a fan behind it.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna do a fan, to be honest. I feel like the ice pack would be.
Yeah. So, for the people out there that have not been to a Mirage or a FINNUH set, what can they expect?
I do a little bit of everything, you know. I kind of tend to focus on like the future rhythm color bass kind of thing. That's just like that sound is just like I fall in love with it, you know. Like Ace Aura, Akios, like those type of people. Like that's pretty much my vibe. Like But I do a little bit of everything. I play like indie stuff. I play just to keep like the crowd engaged. But nothing will make me start moving. Like I'll throw in a little bit of drum and bass too for people. But that's usually my vibe. I play literally everything.
Nice.
I kind of like to strive with like. I try and keep a balance between like the melodic vibe and like the heavy vibe. But other than that,
It's always good to listen.
yeah, literally like keeps the ladies like like going with like the fucking melodic stuff. And
It's
then,
not
like,
just straight headbanging.
yeah, it's not just
all
straight
night.
headbanging stuff all night.
Yeah, you definitely do a good job of like keeping a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been like playing a little bit of a D&B section occasionally, especially when I'm like early in the night. I feel like, you know, D&B gets people hype. Also like house, if I'm like playing early in the night, I really want to just play like a house, like a bass house set.
Dude,
sometime.
that back-to-back we did for
Oh, that was
show
fun.
where
Yeah,
we
we played
was
some
doing
bass house
nothing but
sets.
house at the end.
Yeah,
That shit was
cool.
clean.
But yeah, my shows, I definitely play a lot of originals, and like that's what I kind of structure my whole set around is like originals and shit that I've made that nobody else has heard. And then also like, you know, heavy shit, rhythm. I especially like heavy rhythm, just kind of where that intersection is between like, you know, like tear out and rhythm. I don't know. It's like everything's a gray area these days, but yeah, I also make a bunch of edits all the time. Like one of my favorite things is just like having something that everybody knows, right? Like a song that people can sing along to or just like know, and then dropping that into something like
Totally
a double that's just like heavy as shit, you know? So I like that contrast of like, you think this is gonna happen, but then something else happens.
Yeah.
And eventually I want to do a like all original set. I'm pretty close, but like I have enough music to do that, but a lot of it is like my old music that I don't fuck with anymore really. But eventually I'll get there and do like a all original set. But the one thing is like when I'm playing originals, like I always am hesitant to double them because I just want to let people hear them like how they are originally. But then eventually after I've played them out enough, I'm like, okay, I got to double this now, you know?
Go for the quad job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would. That's another idea I had was I want to do an EP that you can quad drop perfectly. Like I've like the whole purpose of the EP is to like quad drop it. You know, I have like different layers that sound good by themselves, but then if you quad drop it, it just like smacks.
That'd be crazy.
And it's like a 4-track EP.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be sick.
You gotta send it to UCB Flow and go crazy
Yeah.
with it.
Sheesh.
Or over you.
Yeah, or
Down low.
Yeah.
So, I know, because I remember asking this to Sora, like how, like, if there's anything that's, like, I guess inspirational to them in terms of, like, writing music, but it was, like, kind of, like, hard to, like, word it or, like, phrase it, but, because it's, even now I'm still struggling.
Like what motivates them?
Yeah.
Or like what inspires us too. Kind of like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I have a few methods when I want to start like making music. Usually, like my go-to recently is I just literally get on my keyboard and I close my eyes and just start playing. Literally, that's like what I do, and I just like feel out a vibe. And as soon as I get that going, I'm like, all right, this is the type of track I want to make today. Or not even a track, just like I'll do like a sound design session or like usually like whenever I do that, just like gets my brain kind of going. And I feel like everyone should have that kind of thing that like turns on their brain creative wise. Because like if you're just gonna like sit down and just like try and force yourself to make music, it's not gonna. It's
gonna feel like a chore.
It's literally gonna feel like a chore, and you're not gonna have a good time. You need to get into like a move and like a groove of like how you're gonna produce your tracks. And I really don't even like do like full song like creation sessions anymore. I'll literally just like I'm like, all right, today I'm gonna make like a loop, or I'm gonna make like a new Vital sample. Like I just be going stupid in Vital recently. Like I just constantly making patches in Vital. Or I'm like right now I'm working on. Do you know what Patcher is?
I think I've heard of it.
So it's like basically FL's like modular like plugin system. You can make like absolutely bonker ass shit with it. But right now I'm working on a plugin in Patcher, and it's a bitch and a half to make. But basically you can take any sample, you can throw it in there, and you can turn it to like any drum, like kick, snare, hi-hat. And then basically it takes the tonality from the sample and it like makes it into that drum instrument essentially.
Oh,
so you keep the tonality, but you like have like you can literally just start your own like drum sample library. And that's the main thing that I've been missing is I don't have my own drums. I have like all these like samples and like Vital patches, but I don't have my own drums. So that's like the thing I want to make.
That's cool to make them from scratch. Too.
Yeah,
Like make
yeah.
them from a different sample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the big thing. And then like a lot of like my sound design is through Vital, but I do resampling in Vital. So I'll take like a sample from Splice and throw it in the wavetable generator, and I'll just go from there. It's like the best way to just instantly make like wavetables that are your own, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
And just like crazy shit too.
Dude, you can do absolutely bonker ass shit with it. Vital is so slept on. I don't even know how that thing is free, dude.
It is. No, because I was messing around with it the other day, and like
So powerful.
very.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like that one track we were making that one time. You saw how crazy you can make stuff. We took
What was
the
it?
agony snare.
It was a pan.
It was an
snare.
agony pan snare. We made it absolutely insane quarter note patch.
I want to hear it.
I mean, the way they're able to make it free is like you can like upgrade it and like get even more patches and like wavetables and stuff. But you can just make your own patches and also import other wavetables. So like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's really cool.
Even then, just like making your own wavetable, it's ridiculously easy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know like what it would be called, but like where your harmonic stretch is, your inharmonic stretch, your bass disperser. That alone just opens up like a different gate of like shit you do.
Yeah, the warp modes.
Vital is very, very good if you want to deal with like spectral morphing, and very good with like getting like crazy ass harmonics like out of your songs. Serum is good with that, but like Vital like just blows my mind what you can do with that shit in terms of like harmonics and stuff.
Wavetable editor, like you can
Dude,
draw
so
in the
crazy.
harmonics.
Dude, you can
to
literally
create
draw
the
in
wavetable,
harmonics,
which you totally can't do in Serum.
Also, you
Serum's
can
wavetable editor kind of sucks.
with like the detune and unison. You can also there's like 12 different modes of unison with Vital. I just figured that out like a couple days ago, and I've been messing with that. It's fucking insane what you can do with it.
Oh yeah. But yeah, for what inspires me, like, it's definitely. I feel like there's like a ebb and a flow for like my creativity, at least. Like, there's some periods where I'm just like, I don't want to even think about making music, and other times I'm like, I can't stop making music, you know.
Dude,
but yeah, things that inspire me is just like listening to like new music that comes out, and I'm just like, what the fuck, this is so good. Like, I want to make some shit like this. Or just going to a show, you know.
Dude, Deadbeats, after Deadbeats, dude, I started writing some absolutely bonkers
Yeah,
shit,
I always get so inspired after a show. But yeah, also like one of my favorite things to do is if I have like writer's block, is just download new samples or like get some stems for something. Like the Disciple remix contest that's going on. Like, I get so inspired when I just drag some stems in. I'm like, oh, you know, there's already a foundation. I don't have to start from scratch and be like, okay, like let me do some sound design. Most of the time it's like, oh, I can take this and do this processing to it that I like doing and come up with something new. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what inspires me. But yeah, sometimes I just like, you know, power through and come up with some creative shit and like resample it, and then it becomes a song.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about like, because you mentioned writer's block. Y'all. So you said listening to new music, dragging in new samples, going through like other new samples. That's how you kind of like get out of that. Is there anything you kind of do like on your end?
Honestly, dude, whenever I get writer's block, it's usually dealt with. It usually relates to like depression and shit. So usually I'll just go like meditate for like 30 minutes and then I try and come back to it. If it doesn't work then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna walk away from this for like a day and then come back to it. More so than others, like that works. But honestly, if it's like really bad, then I need to go to like a show like Deadbeats to really like be like, dude, this shit's insane. Like, this shit is literally blowing my mind right now. Like, I'm so inspired right now. And that works like 100% of the time. But honestly, if it's like really, really bad, like he said, I'll just drag, like go on Splice, just like down on my keyboard playing samples and samples and samples until I hear something. I'm just like, dude, that's fire. That's potential. Yeah, and then I'll just go into it.
You can make like a melody with just your arrow keys on Splice.
Dude,
I'll like go up a couple, down a couple, and I'm like, oh, that kind of makes like a melody, and I'll take those samples and just like
download a bunch of one shots.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay, so I have two separate questions.
Sure.
If you had to pick somebody to back with, who would it be? Anybody? Or actually, how about one local and one big name?
Okay.
And then if you had to collab with somebody, who would it be?
So if I had to go back to back with like a big name, probably Sora. I feel like our styles would just blend like pretty fucking well, especially if he played like his like original and hyperpop stuff. Yeah. That we've already actually been talking about it, so hopefully it'll happen. And then like a local, Honestly, Jay Frank, he be playing a lot of stuff I be playing, so I feel like that'd be pretty fire.
That'd be dope.
He's super slept on, in my opinion.
Yeah, dude.
Slept on.
I've made visuals for him quite a few times. And then I have to collab with someone, Sora. Like that also might be happening. But
On the down low, little spot
yeah,
talk exclusive.
little sneak peek.
Little exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, let me think, man. That's tough. I mean, back to back. Like, I feel like we should go back to back, like with both of y'all guys, like sometime, like 48 and past too. Like, I think we've like
We've
just done a little bit of back to back before, but just like a whole set would be dope. And let's see. I don't know. I've never been to like an Ominous show, but I feel like I really fucking like Ominous's music, and like that would be a sick ass back to back if I could. Probably a cool collab too. Like, I've never met him, but I really like his music. So, and then like anytime I look at my sets, I'm like, oh my god, there's so many Ominous tunes in here. Yeah.
Y'all's styles would go like perfectly together on some real show.
You need to get a three-way collab between you, Ominous, and Infud going.
Infect would be dope too.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm surprised you and Infect haven't collabed yet on some
Yeah, we're working
stuff.
on we're not working on a collab. We're working on like so something that like always pisses me off about collabs is just like having to deal with all the stems and just like there's no like standard way of like exporting them and importing them, and then it always just becomes a mess, and you have to like think about like which stems you've already imported, and like do you want to just like start from the stems again. So what we're working on is like basically like some guidelines for like the best way to export your stems and like name your shit and organize it so that the other person can like easily import it. And I think it's gonna be useful. Like if everyone kind of adheres to that, it's gonna make everyone.
You should put that on his master class.
That's what I think the plan. We're gonna get some feedback on it from people, and then put it out there and see like, see what the deal is, and hopefully it'll
That'd be pretty solid.
make stems. You know what would be really cool is like I think we'll eventually get to it, but like Google Docs for a DAW where you can just have two people working in a DAW at the same time.
That'd be cool.
Well, did you see someone? I think it's the same guy that made Vital. He's working on a plugin where you can take an FL project and instantly transfer it to
I've seen
Ableton,
that, yeah.
and it seamlessly transfers everything to like stock, like from stock FL plugins to Ableton plugins, like perfectly.
That's
Same
great.
settings and like automations and everything.
Oh, wow.
See, we've thought about like just having like a computer in the cloud that like both people working on the collab can access, maybe even at the same time, and then you just have like two mice and you're just like on a Zoom call. And, like,
I mean,
work
what
on
y'all
the
could
project
do is
together.
just there's a bunch of virtual machine like companies out there. You could probably just
you could get
rent
a
one of
AWS
those
machine or
and you could
something.
just log into it.
No, do it in virtual reality.
Dude,
Just
Making
collab
music
in virtual reality.
That'd be dope though, because I feel like the one limitation between like collabs is one, the time period between this person's like availability and then your availability. But it's also, hey, let's say I'm an Ableton user, they're an FL like user. That I guess like brick wall.
Such a hurdle.
dude, yeah.
And also like with Discord calls, Zoom calls, it's like let me try to do something, but you're not the one that has access to that DAW.
Yeah, so then you gotta like explain, and it's just you can't put it into words, and it's really difficult. I definitely have so many collabs that have like just never seen the light of day. They're like halfway baked, or some that are just like on me that I like never did anything with the stems, and I just like feel so bad. But I don't know.
So you mentioned something about Isaiah collabing with him, but we're not going to talk about that.
Right.
We're not going to talk about that.
Isaiah.
We're not going to talk about that.
I don't know who Isaiah.
It's just a thought right now, as of now, but we're both down for it.
What are, I guess, some things that you guys have in the works that you are allowed to disclose? Let's go with that.
So as you all know, I don't really have a lot of music out right now, but that's about to change. Currently sitting on a 4-track EP that I've done now. Just sending out the labels right now, and then if it gets accepted anywhere, I'm just going to self-release it. And then I have about 8 singles that I'm sitting on right now. That
Damn,
I'm
son.
ready to release throughout the year. So I'm just planning that all out right now. I'm making all the artwork for that. And then I'm probably going to do, it's not really going to be a rebranding, but when I make my helmet, I'm making like a whole short film that basically shows me becoming this, like, I'm basically going to take on like a persona and basically morph into Mirage is literally like what I'm going to do.
Oh yeah.
Basically, like, I'm going to have like an actual persona when I'm on stage and everything, and just kind of stick to that branding and kind of really like putting like my foot on the pedal, but in terms of like marketing and like branding, and really sticking to like what I want to do with my work. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I released a new song yesterday called Sus. Go listen to it. It's on my SoundCloud.
It's fire.
It's a
An
shorty.
Audience? Fire.
Yeah, actually, it's on my Audience. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, it's like super short. It's like 2 minutes. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm not making a switch, or like, I'll just leave it. But yeah, I have a 4-track EP I've been sitting on it for like almost a year. Like, a lot of the songs are from my showcase mix that I did at the beginning of the year. And I have a label that's gonna release it, but they're like super slow moving. Like, they told me they would have a release date in 90 days. So like, I'm waiting for like 3 more months before I even get a release date.
Yeah.
And we still need to figure out art and everything. And at this point, the tracks are like old. They're like, they're almost a year old. So I'm like, do I even still want to release it, or do I just want to release new music? But yeah, I'll get that figured out. And yeah, so probably expect an EP from me as well.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Sweet. Keep an eye on Mirage and FINNUH.
Let's talk about label releases, since it was like y'all brought it up. Because I know that's like, the one thing, producers kind of like, we all like strive for. In a way, it's like, oh, I want to get on like this label, but I also want to get on this label. But do you think it's like important to have label releases?
I think so, yeah. I think that's really how you get noticed, and like how bigger labels notice you if you already have some label releases under your belt. So I've released with like some smaller labels, and I've definitely had a lot of demos rejected from bigger labels as well. But yeah, I think, it gives you a goal to work towards, and like usually they'll give you good feedback. Sometimes labels won't respond at all. Sometimes they'll give you like very valuable feedback, and it's all about listening to that feedback and seeing how you can actually improve your music from that. But yeah, I would say like label releases are super important, and also just connections, like we were talking about. If you're putting out like really good music, if it's not being released on a label, and like you don't have any connections to push it out, like no one's really gonna care, which sucks.
Facts.
Like, that's like one, I guess, stigma that kind of just like needs to be taken down. Because I feel like there's some, not some, like a good amount of producers that like never get like the light of day from labels, just because they're probably like too small, not that well known. Labels probably don't want to take that risk, and it's just like, because they don't have that, it's like talent that's not getting really like pushed out. So I don't know. I wish that like that label release kind of like stigma wasn't really like that like big of a thing.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like we probably don't see a lot of it, but like I feel like a lot of artists will get smaller labels and like build connections and stuff, and then they'll start a new project. So from the outside looking in, it's like, wow, these people just like took off, and like everybody knew about them, and their first track has like 100,000 plays, but it's probably because of all the work that we don't see that they put in before that.
And then you get the people saying, oh, it's just botted.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it is botted, but
We don't talk about that.
Anything else? Y'all want to talk about anything else? Any shout outs before we wrap things up?
Shout out Rhythm Squad.
yeah, shout out Rhythm
for
Squad.
having us.
Fuck Rhythm Squad.
Yes.
And I got like 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
man.
about to have a talk after this.
He said dropped. He said, I saw those videos.
It's like, get out. Get out of my apartment.
But yeah, for real, thanks for having us. That was
Yeah,
fun.
man.
Yes, thank
Glad
you
for
for
talking
coming
to you
over.
guys.
Very fun.
Oh yeah.
Before we go, we just need to talk about Austin's insane fucking cooking and his skills. Ladies, please hit him up. This man is quite literally insane in the kitchen.
Hell yeah.
Respectfully.
Respectfully insane in the kitchen.
Respectfully insane.
All right, peace, y'all.
Oh, well, what are we on? 4-9? I'm gonna say 4-9. Fuck it. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah,
If
that's
not, it
right.
will. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our very special double feature episode. Our very lovely special guest, Austin Mirage, Sebastian FINNUH. Make sure to keep an eye out for them. Big things coming from them soon. If you guys haven't checked out their stuff already, it should be linked down in the description. I've been your host, Eddie Potts. This is Chase Shorty 40, half the 48 boys, and we will see you on the next one.
Deuces.
Peace.
Up and throw away the D like Malcolm X.